Did Robert Whittaker just get robbed at UFC Abu Dhabi after fighting Reinier de Ridder, and he won a controversial split decision? And Whittaker fans are furious, UFC fans are furious, but is there actually any legit reason to be furious here, or was this fair? I want to talk about it because this was a fight I was excited about. But Robert Whittaker and Reinier de Ridder, they went 5 rounds, and I expected this to go to a decision. As you guys know, I picked Robert Whittaker, and it almost went Robert Whittaker's way. 48-47 split decision. Literally, one judge had it for Whittaker, one judge had it for Reinier de Ridder. It came down to one judge, and that judge did score it for RDR. So I want to talk about the fight because the fight was insane. Like, just off the bat, because I noticed Reinier de Ridder, he just looked a lot bigger than Robert Whittaker, and Robert Whittaker is somebody that he fights at middleweight, but he has said that he would go up to light heavyweight. So the fact that somebody is like, mogging him in size after the fact that he's already not even in the weight class he's supposed to be, just says a lot about Reinier de Ridder. And I'm curious, how will RDR face off against DDP, Hamza? We're going to get into that later, but I actually want to first just talk about the fight. In the first round, Robert Whittaker, I thought looked really good. And at this point, I was like, you know what, guys, we're going to have to title this video Robert Whittaker outclassing RDR, because he was looking really good jabs, and really good takedown defense, would defend pretty much every single takedown. There was a point in this round which did kind of spell the theme for the fight, which was the fact that RDR would throw a bunch of knees at Robert Whittaker, I think getting him tired, pressuring him, and we'll get into that as we get into the end of the second round, third round. And, later Robert Whittaker seemed to recover round 4 and 5, but I think at that point it was just too late. But round 1, totally for Robert Whittaker. I don't think anybody would disagree with you there. Round 2, Robert Whittaker, he isn't looking as good. He's slowing down. He's going backwards. I think the pace of RDR definitely played a factor in things, just always going backwards as Robert Whittaker, someone that's, keep in mind, also trying to bounce all the time. That's super hard in your cardio. I was surprised to see Robert Whittaker run out of cardio. It seems to get tired in the middle of the fight, because we normally don't see that from him. But when you're, using that much energy already, you're literally moving backwards the whole time. You're bouncing, you're defending takedowns. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I can't even imagine keeping it up with that. So I don't blame Robert Whittaker there. The nose was bleeding. I thought maybe his nose was broken. This guy should stop going to Abu Dhabi. Last time got his jaw broken. This time got his nose broken. And RDR pretty much just dominated this round. I don't think you could at all deny it. I think at one point RDR got a takedown, was on top for a long time. And round 3 was the craziest part of the fight, because round 3 is when Whittaker, I thought at this point, man, we're looking at a Whittaker knockout this round. The round starts, Whittaker just looks tired. He looks like there's nothing left. I mean, in the corner, he already kind of looked like, man, I don't think I'm winning this fight. He looked like he gave up on himself a little bit. But in the beginning of round 3, RDR is going for the finish, and Whittaker just throws, I guess, like a Hail Mary shot here and knocks down RDR and nearly finishes him. I mean, nearly finished him. I mean, there was a few right hands that landed on the ground from the grounded pound that I thought, wow, like RDR might be really almost out here. RDR did survive, probably because he has a really good ground game, probably because Robert Whittaker didn't want to expend too much, already cardio, because he was already tired beyond belief. And also because, like I say, maybe he didn't want to get submitted from the bottom. I mean, I saw RDR was trying to set up some triangle attempts. Both guys get up, and from there, it was close. I mean, RDR did get a takedown later on. So I think outside of that knockdown, I was a little worried, and I haven't actually looked at the judges' scorecards. I do want to review it at the end after I break down this fight to see what rounds the judges scored for what. I think all judges should score this round for Robert Whittaker simply because of the knockdown. I understand at the end there was a lot of control from RDR, but the knockdown, I mean, that's the biggest thing in the whole round. Come on. This is a fight at the end of the day. If you get knocked down, you're almost finished. That's a pretty big deal, especially RDR nearly finished. A lot of right hands after that grounded pound. So at this point, I had a 2-1 Whittaker. And then we get to round 4, and round 4 was very close. Robert Whittaker landed really good jabs, and it was a very close round. Like, I think this is where you really have to decide who wins this fight. I think it's based on this round, because Whittaker was landing good shots, stunning RDR, but also RDR, at one point, he landed a right hand that stunned Robert Whittaker. So it was really on both sides. RDR, at one point, he threw a punch, and it looked really sloppy. It just looked tired. I mean, both guys at this point looked extremely tired. It was a very close round. It was really tough for me to decide who would win this round. I overall gave it to RDR, though, and I think that kind of just does decide the fight. I think Reinier de Ridder, I think Whittaker did land some good jabs, but I think the right hand just narrowly won it, because I was literally like, anybody could win this round the last minute. Then RDR landed that right hand. And round 5 was pretty similar, a very close round, but I'd say for a different reason, because Robert Whittaker went out there trying, I think, to knock out RDR. I think he was trying to at least win the round, maybe he felt like he was behind. He needed a big moment. While RDR was doing the opposite, and he just seemed like to me he was trying to, stall the fight, clinch up against Robert Whittaker, let it go to the scorecards, and hope to win a decision, which is what happened, because RDR did wind up winning a 48-47 decision, which I agree with. I feel like you got to give rounds, I would give round 2, round 4, round 5 to RDR, and round 1 and 3 to Whittaker. Round 3 very narrowly to Whittaker. I would not be surprised if a judge wound up giving round 3 to RDR. I don't agree with that just because, come on, how could you have a knockdown in a round and not score it for that guy unless some crazy, crazy stuff happened in that round? And while I got to say, for getting knocked down, Reinier de Ridder definitely did a really good job coming back in round 3 because, how could you come back after getting dropped? But he definitely did come close. Nowhere near close enough, though, in my opinion, to even win the round and say Whittaker shouldn't have won. So my take is 48-47. Now, I do want to look at the scorecards right now because, let's see, we always know scorecards. I mean, sometimes they're completely right. Sometimes they're completely wrong. Sometimes they're just terrible. I don't know. We're going to actually take a look, and I hope this is not terrible. I hope I agree with the conclusion, but let's hope I agree with the math here because if not, I might actually flip out here. Okay, so this is the scorecard. First round unanimously goes to Whittaker. Second round unanimously goes to de Ridder. I think, yeah, you got to agree there. No problem so far. Round 3, this is what I'm curious, and yeah, all 3 gave the Whittaker correct scorecard. I'm glad. I was a little worried at the time that somebody was going to, give the round to Reinier de Ridder just because of control at the end. It was a lot of control, I will say, but come on, dude. The control, there was not a lot of damage there. You can't give it to de Ridder, at least. Come on. Round 4, this is a split round, which is what I figured. So this is what I did figure. It did come down to round 4. One judge gave it to Whittaker. 2 judges gave it to de Ridder. I felt like that round, it really could have gone to Whittaker. I would rewatch the round again. I wouldn't be surprised if I scored it differently. And round 5 unanimously went to de Ridder, which I'm not surprised about either. I did say it was a close round. Just Whittaker didn't do enough, I felt like. I do feel like de Ridder was just stalling. But because of that, Whittaker wasn't really able to get anything off. So I did feel like Reinier de Ridder should have won that round. So I agree with the scorecard. I'm actually not too mad about this. I honestly think, first of all, impressive for RDR because RDR, there's a lot of talk of, can he handle being in the UFC? Obviously, most of his career he fought at 1. This is his 4th fight, I believe, in the UFC now. So he's really proven himself at this point. I mean, beating Robert Whittaker, even though it was a close fight, most people can't say that. A lot of people can't say that. I mean, there's a lot of people that have not been able to beat Robert Whittaker that have been in the UFC for years on years on years. So the fact that he was able to beat him, I think, says a lot about him. And I think any questions about RDR being a legit contender, being a problem for Hamza Tregus du Plessis, come on, guys. So that seems to be the next fight. I think, obviously, he is a challenge for them. I think that this isn't someone you could overlook. As I said, the size advantage alone for RDR was something insane to me when he went up against Whittaker. I did not even know that he was so big. Like, I never even thought of this. Even against Kevin Holland, he looked big, but Kevin Holland's small for the weight class, so I understood that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next fight is DDP versus RDR, which is, I don't know why we're having a battle of, 3 letters here, but I don't know, guys. I think it's the right choice next. I understand, I guess he's ranked number 5. I mean, there is Kyle Brahalo versus Nasruddin Imavov happening next month in September, I believe, in Paris. So that fight could wind up taking who's the number 1 contender. I mean, there's also rumors of Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. A lot of big fights happening in the middleweight division right now. So I don't know. Maybe we don't see RDR till next year. We'll see. Other things to happen on the card. I mean, Shara Bullet returned. He won, but got his nose broken. Petr Yan, I also want to talk about because he looked good against Marcus McGee. I think a lot of people were curious to see, he's getting someone ranked so below. Like, he's getting screwed here. Some people thought, he should get a title shot against Merab already. So, will he get the title shot next? That's what he's calling for. I wouldn't be surprised if not. That's how crazy this is. That's how crazy this whole situation is. It just goes to show how dominant that loss that Jan had to Merab was. But yeah, I mean, the prelims were good. I thought that fight in the beginning of the prelims, I forgot who it was with, but the guy that got dropped 50 times and had that huge thing on his eye. I was watching that live why aren't you stopping this, ref, dude? Do you just want this guy to die? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my last video where I talked about this new Conor McGregor lawsuit that dropped, a new sexual assault lawsuit, brand new. This wasn't like the one from last year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.